Hi everybody, it's Miss Jackie with Botetourt County Libraries. I'm here today with my friend and part of our family. This is George. You remember George from a video not long ago. Well, George is here today because he especially loves stories. And we're talking about animals in our stories today, so that's his very favorite thing. Also, George also loves snacks, and he knows that I have a snack right here for him, don't you, George? So he'll pretty much do anything for me right now. Right, George? You give me kisses? There you go. George always gets a snack when we have story time. Do you like to have snacks too? Yes, George is a very good dog. You want some snacks? We're going to talk about a mouse family today who goes for a walk, and they encounter one of their neighbors, a surprise neighbor that they didn't know was going to be right around the corner. So we're going to come right back, and we're going to have our story about the mouse family while George finishes up his snack. We're going to have our story about the mouse family and their walk. While George is enjoying his snack, I'm going to tell you guys and George the story about the mother mouse and her children. I'm going to use signs with this story, and at the end of the story, I'll show you what the signs are, and then you can tell this story to somebody in your family. All right, it goes like this. One day, a mother mouse asked her children if they would like to go out for a walk. Well, of course they did, and so out they went. They walked down the sidewalk in the little town where they lived, and they walked and walked until they came to a corner. They went around the corner, and when they did, that's when they saw a very big, an enormous cat. Meow. Now you know that mice are very afraid of cats. These little children were so scared of that cat. Their mother was scared too, but their mother was also very brave. Mother Mouse looked that cat right in the eye and said, that's right. The mother mouse began to bark. Well, she asked her children for help. The little mice children, decided they would help their mother, and they began to bark. That scared that cat so much that the cat ran away. Mother Mouse looked at her children and said, "There is a lesson to be learned here. Never underestimate the power of a second language." Now that was a really funny story, wasn't it? Let me tell you some of the signs that we used in that story, and then you can tell this story to someone in your family. We started out with one day. The sign for day is that. One day, a mother. We put our thumb on our chin and wiggle our fingers. One day, a mother mouse. We just wiggle our nose with our finger. And her children, that's just making the sign from higher to lower. Her children went for a walk. We just move our hands as if our feet are moving. They walked toward a corner. The sign for corner is this. Then they went around the corner. That's when they met the cat. That's right. Let's do cat whiskers. That's right. Now, when they saw the cat, they were afraid. This is the sign for afraid. Their mother was also afraid, but she was also very brave. That's right. She turned to the cat and she went bark. Remember, she barked like a dog. The cat became afraid too. And then the mother told her children that she needed help. Remember, this is the sign for help. Now, after the cat ran away, the mother said to her children, There's a lesson to be learned. So we're just going to take something out of our hand and put it in our head. There's a lesson to be learned, and that is to never underestimate the power of a second language. Just make L's like this. Good job, guys. Now you can tell that story to somebody in your family. All right, you all learned a lot of signs today. It's the sign for mouse and cat. We're going to learn a song and use those very same signs, plus a few more we're about to learn. We're going to learn the sign for love, which is to just cross your hands over your heart like this. That's love. We'll use the sign for house, which is to make a roof like this and walls. Then we'll use the sign for hat, which is to just touch your head like that. The sign for head, which is to touch your head on the top and on the side of your face like that. We'll use the sign for eat. We'll put our hands to our mouth like this. We'll use the sign for sleep, like this. All right, let's use those signs and sing about a little mouse who loved his house and a little cat who loved her hat. The tiny little mouse loved his little house. There he would eat and sleep, the tiny little mouse. The tiny little cat loved her little hat. She would wear it on her head, the tiny little cat. Yay, good job, guys. All right, now we'll have craft time. We are going to make a little house, a tiny little house that's also a book. All right, since we talked about families, I thought we'd make a little house today. A little house made of nothing but paper and markers or crayons, whatever you'd like to color it with. We just need a piece of paper that's cut into a rectangle or shaped like a rectangle. This is just a piece of copy paper, but wrapping paper or a piece of newsprint, anything would work. We just need a rectangular shape that we're going to fold. Now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to fold it, the short edges together, just like this. We want to make sure we get those edges nice and lined up, and then we're going to give it a good crease right down the middle. Now that was easy. We're going to call that a hamburger fold. We're going to open that paper up, and then we're going to fold it with the long sides together. We're going to call that a hot dog fold. So make sure that the long sides of your paper, the long edges are together. It's much easier to do this if you put it on the table to crease it. All right, so now we have the hot dog fold. Okay. We'll open it up again, and when we do open it, you can see that there are 4 creases. There are 2 across the center and 2 down the center of long ways like that. So the next thing we're going to do is to make 2 more folds in this. We're going to fold it from this long edge down toward the center crease, just like that. So I'm going to put this down on the table so I can see what I'm doing here, and it's easier to crease if you put it on the table to work with it. I want to make sure that I get it lined up with that long edge right there on that center crease so it looks like this. All right, now that's really easy. We're going to do this other side the same way. We're going to fold this long edge right down there to meet that center crease too. Let's put it right here on the table again and give it a nice sharp crease like this. All right, now you can see all the creases in that paper. Now that we have those folds in there, we're going to fold it into that hamburger fold again. We're going to fold it in half with the short sides together. The fold is going to be at the top. The open end is going to be at the bottom. Now you can see there are lines folded in this paper, which makes the next fold really easy to do. We're going to take this corner and fold it right there so that it meets that line, just like that. When you're finished, it's going to look like a dog ear, like George's ear. There you go. It meets that line, that crease right there. We'll do the same thing over here on this side. All right, there you go. We're almost finished. The only thing we have to do now to make this a house is to open this up like this, and we're going to take that little triangle that you can see folded in the center there. We're going to push that fold in, and we're going to bring this together like this. All right. All right, so it looks like this. The folded side is in. Let's do it again on this side. We'll open up this dog ear, open up the edges of the paper, and just push on that center seam, just like that. Might have to work with your fingers a little bit to make this happen. This is the trickiest part. If we can get this part finished, we're going to be doing really well. Now, the one I'm going to show you that's finished, I made out of cardstock. And it was a little bit easier to work with, a little harder to fold, but it was much sturdier when it was all finished. All right, so now when we get those little dog ears folded toward the inside, like that, there you go. Now it's starting to look like a house. This is not going to be just a house though, this is going to be a house booklet. So you can see those fold lines. We are going to fold toward the center line, just like that. Fold one edge toward the center, and then we're going to take the other side and fold that one toward the center too. So it looks like this. Now this is kind of hard to see, but when I show you the one that I've decorated, it'll make much more sense. So I decided to decorate this like a house. And this is what my house looks like. All right. As you can see, it's just what we did before. We took that paper, folded it in half, made those folds in it, and then we pushed this inside just like that. And then I colored a roof on there. Then when I was all finished, I opened up those edges and folded them back on both sides. And I drew a window, and there's a bush with flowers and a little butterfly in there. On the other side, there's a door and a window and flowers. And when you open the flaps out like this, then you have a house. You can open the door, and there you have the inside of your book. And you can practice your letters, practice your alphabet in there, or you can write a story about your family. This is a really fun craft to do. I'm going to put a link to this craft in the box under the video that says show more. If you're looking at this on your phone, you might have to look for a little caret in the right hand corner of the bottom, and if you click on that little caret, a drop down box will happen and you'll be able to see the link for this. You can find this on Creative Bug, which is a resource that you can find on the Botetourt County Library's website for arts and crafts. Just click on that arts and crafts icon on the Botetourt County webpage. You'll see Creative Bug on there, and when you click on that, they'll just ask you to log in. You can come up with a password, a username and a password, and there are literally thousands of crafts on there for children and adults and teens. You can find all kinds of fun things to do. It's all free, and it's all on the Botetourt County Library website. Thank you guys very much for joining me today for story time. We hope you'll join Miss Megan and Miss Jamie with story times on Monday and Friday. And we will see you again next time.